Be still. This is a moment of being still as we are entering into fall, and fall equinox is upon us. We got to be still so that you can receive the directions and you can receive the recipes, right? And you can receive the blueprints. You got to be still to get instructions, to get direction. The seeds that you're planting, you got to know what seeds you should be planting right now. You have to listen for directions to know what seeds you should be planting and where you should be planting them at. You got to take a moment. You have to be still. A few messages have come through, and they've actually been very redundant, and this is being repeated in different forms, but it's being repeated. One of the things, like I said, pivoting, being ready to pivot, being in position to pivot, knowing when it's time for you to pivot. Remember, when things aren't going right, pivot. You have the option to pivot. Number 2, be still. When you decide that you need to pivot, you need to be in a space and you need to be in position that you know where you're going, so that you know what direction you're pivoting. So you have to take a moment and strategize. You have to take a moment and be still and listen for directions. Listen for your spiritual team. Look at the signs. Look at the symbols. Be in position. Be alert. Be aware to the point that you are able to catch hold to the messages that are coming forth for you, that you're able to receive the messages, that you see the signs, that you are receiving the communications from your spiritual team, from God and your spiritual team. If you're constantly on go, you don't have a moment to be still enough to listen. Listen. When you find yourself on that hamster wheel, I found myself back on the hamster wheel, and that's how I know that I need to pivot. I need to pivot in my personal life, and I need to pivot in my business. It's time to pivot. I don't like being on that hamster wheel. I don't like being go. Do this, all over. I don't like being in that space. So I can't cry about being in that space. I have to do something about being in that space, right? It's my decision, it's my choice, it is my responsibility to create a space for myself that I am able to hear. That's my responsibility. So now that I see, damn, Angel, you've hopped back on this hamster wheel, things have to change. Time for you to pivot. Okay, first, I need to get still and I need to strategize. So when I say I need to get still and I need to strategize, I'm not talking about for no 30 minutes. I'm not even talking about meditating for an hour. Like, no, I really need to carve out time out my schedule for me and my planning and my strategizing. And I need to do it immediately so that I'm able to pivot and I know which direction I'm pivoting in. I'm not just saying things need to change and blindly moving. No, I'm moving with intention. We got to start moving with intention. We have to start being very intentional with our lives, with the things we do, with the foods we eat, with the places we go, with the people that we're seeing. And speaking of being intentional with the people that you're seeing in these relationships, we have to be intentional. When we're dating, we have to be intentional. Or else we wind up in situations that are not for our greatest and our highest good. We put ourselves in these situations because we did not take a moment to listen, right? We didn't take a moment to strategize. We were not intentional. Yeah, dating with a purpose. Why are you dating? It could be multiple purposes. You know, there are multiple purposes why people date. Find out your why. What's your why? I talked about that, and it's funny that this is coming up again. My vision board brunch, we talked about your whys. When you're setting goals for yourselves, why? What's your why? You have to have a why or there's no reason. And when there's no reason, there's no urgency. When there's no why, there's no motivation. There's no motivation. Why am I doing this? What is this? Where is this going to take me? What is the plan? Lay the plan out, set everything out, strategize, and execute. It all starts from a thought. Yeah. Okay. Prime example. I could be sitting here. Okay, Angel. Strategizing in my head, right? Do this a lot of times when I get to myself, when I get that hour. I would set out an hour, at least an hour out your day, right? Set at least an hour out your day and just sit with yourself. Get your journal, get your notebook, get your pen, get ready to write, because you got to ask yourself these questions. You got to write that shit out. You can't keep everything in here because it's going to be scrambled up with everything else that's in there and everything else that you have going on. Yeah, some of us are really good at compartmentalizing, but you got to lay that shit out. You got to write it out. You have to write it out. Stop being lazy. You have to write it out, right? So I'll get to myself and I will go into a meditation. And for those of y'all who feel like, oh, I don't know how to meditate, I don't know what that is or how to meditate, or it doesn't work for me, just sit with yourself. Sit with yourself and focus on your breathing. That's all I want you to do. Just sit with yourself and focus on your breathing. And when you begin to focus on your breathing, you enter into a trance, right? And once you're in that trance, you're able to receive the downloads that are coming. You're able to, transport yourself to different realms. You're able to really tap in and check in with yourself. So again, when I'm just still and I focus on my breathing, and I know when I'm there, there's a feeling that I have when I know I've made it to that space that I'm able to really go within. So I'm going to sit there, right? And then I'm going to check in with my body. I'm going to scan my body from my crown to my feet, from my feet back up to my crown. And then I'm going to hit my chakras. I'm going to scan my chakras. I'm going to go to my root chakra. I'm going to go to my sacral chakra. I'm going to move up to my solar plexus chakra. Oh, and I'm going to touch on that heart chakra. And when I feel any ounce of anything I feel, I'm going to pause and I'm going to address it. And I'm going to identify it. And I'm going to process it. And I'm going to write that shit down. I feel when I got to my heart chakra, I felt a tingling sensation. The more I sat there, that tingling sensation begins to feel more like hurt. The more that tingling sensation begins to feel like hurt, I start to recall certain situations that hurt my heart. I process those situations. I look at it from different perspectives. I try to allow myself to look at it from different perspectives and understand that while I'm doing this process, I'm getting direction from my spiritual team, my ancestors. They're guiding me. God is guiding me. I'm listening for direction. I'm listening for the answers. When I ask these why questions, and I write it down once I hear it, and I'm better able to process it from the current space that I'm in versus the wounded space that I was in when the hurt happened. And I go through all of my chakras, and I scan myself, and I scan my body, and I pay attention to any places that there's tension. Why is there tension here? Why is my jaw tight? I relax. I just really pay attention to my body and what my body is trying to tell me. And that is what tapping in is, right? It's going within, it's consulting with self, higher self, it's consulting with your spiritual team. And remember, higher self is the part of us that knows better. Higher self knows everything about us. Higher self know all of the answers. You have that ability to tap into your higher self. One of the tools that I give to my clients when they book my sessions or come to the retreat is I teach them how to connect to their higher self. We actively connect to higher self while we're on a call. And I'll allow them to allow higher self to answer their questions. I'm just a guide. I help them get there. My job as a healer is to teach you and give you the tools and resources that you need to heal yourself. There's no point in you constantly coming to me for healing when you have everything that you need within. And I show them that, and I teach them that, and I allow them to connect the dots for themselves. And in order to do that, you have to go within. You have to go within. You have to go within. If you want to learn how to consult with higher self, tap the link in my bio. Book your spiritual alignment session. And in that spiritual alignment session, not only do I help you to identify your traumas and process them and heal from them, I give you the tools and the resources that you need to heal yourself, such as connection to higher self, how to consult with higher self. I teach you how to go there and how to get to that space so that you can answer those questions. You have to get there. And then when I come out of that and I have all my notes, right, and I have everything that I need, and not even just with my healing, I will consult with higher self even about my business. I would consult with my spiritual team about my business. I would meditate on what I need to do to grow my business. I meditate on what direction I need to go in during my pivot. You set an intention for your meditation before you go there. That way you're better able to stay on task as what it is that you're in this meditation for, so that you can receive what you came for. Because when you don't set your intentions in your meditations and you're open, it's going to be a flood of communication coming through, and they may not be what you're there for. And sometimes I will go into a meditation that I, receive the things that I need to receive, hear what I need to hear, see what I need to see, know what I need to know. And then sometimes I go into a meditation with a specific intention. My intentions for my meditation may be to gain clarity on what direction I am to pivot in. So set your intentions when you're going into your meditation. So once I've got what I needed from my meditation, I received the answers, I received the downloads. Now it's time to strategize. Now it's time to implement a plan, carve out the plan, write out the plan, brainstorm the plan, do whatever it is you got to do to get it out your head and get it on paper. What the end result is. I'm really big on end results. Once I know the end result, now I'm go ahead and get what steps I'm going to take in the process to achieve that end goal. That's a part of my strategy. That is how I strategize. So now that I got the end goal, now I can go ahead and start writing these steps. And then I also go a step further and I write steps within steps. I'm getting very specific so that I know what I'm doing and I know what direction that I'm about to go in. You can't do that in 30 minutes. You can't, no, you have to carve out time. Okay? Carve out time out your day. Sometimes it takes a few hours. It is what it is. A full day of strategizing, a full day of getting clarity, a full day of tapping into self, a full day of listening for the answers, a full day of consulting with higher self, a full day of consulting with your spirit guides, a full day of consulting with God, a full day of being still, a full day of taking care of self. You got to get there. Because if you don't pivot, you don't strategize, you don't change, nothing in your life is going to change. You're going to stay stuck in the same predicament you've been in. You're going to stay stuck. Got to be intentional about everything. I'm going to circle back to dating and being intentional in your dating. Why are you dating? What is the reason? What is the purpose? The purpose does not have to be marriage. The purpose does not, the purpose could be anything. You could be dating for marriage. You could be dating to have fun. You could be dating to learn. You could be dating to have a child. You could be dating to waste time. You could be dating to see if you like this gender. You could be dating to enjoy yourself. Find out your why. What are you doing this for? Right? And once you get why you're doing it, you determine whether or not the person is in alignment with your why. And if they're not in alignment with your why, as soon as possible, you need to move forward. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up wasting your time knowing you're not in alignment with this person. I don't care how great of a person that they are. I don't care what it is. You have to make sure that they are in alignment with where you are in your life or where you are going. Right? And I'm saying where you're going because I understand that sometimes we change through the process. As we go through the process, we change. As we go through the steps of the end goal, we change. But as long as the end goal is in alignment, y'all are in alignment, y'all on the same page with the end goal, right? We ain't worried about speed. We're not worried about speed. We're worried about direction. I want to make sure we're going in the same direction. When I meet someone and I determine, okay, this could be somebody this might work. If I meet somebody that I like and they're consistent and, time is progressing early on, I let my intentions be known, and I ask them what their intentions are. What are their end goal? And I make sure that we are in alignment. And sometimes that means you really have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself these questions, right? For example, I met someone, and amazing guy, chemistry, like we amazing. I let him know my intentions was eventually for a relationship. And I let him know, and I asked him what his intentions were, because I need to know how I'm moving in this situation based off of whether or not our intentions are in alignment. He's fine with end goal being a relationship eventually, but if that means marriage, he doesn't want to get married. So I have to be honest with myself and say, do I really want to be married again? Is that a negotiable? Is that a non-negotiable? And I had to sit with myself and really process my feelings for marriage. That sitting with myself did not take overnight. It was not a couple of hours. It takes a minute. However long it takes for you to really be honest with yourself and determine, is that something that you want? And once I determine that, hey, this is something I want to pursue, I'm going to pursue it. We're in alignment. Once I determine that that doesn't work for me, I'm not going to pursue it, because we are no longer in alignment. And you have to be okay with that. And it doesn't have to be messy. It doesn't have to be mean. It just has to be communicated, right? And then you go your separate ways. No harm, no foul. Nobody is wrong. Nothing bad happened. You both just realize that you're not in alignment with one another's end goals. That's dating with intention. Now, if I know I have a burning desire to be married, a burning desire, like that's all I dream about is being married, I'm not going to go and entangle myself up with someone that has absolutely, positively no desire for marriage. I'm not going to do that. Yes, people change, but you don't stick around and compromise your non-negotiables for their change, right? You don't do that. That's another thing. Before you even start dating, you need to know your negotiables and your non-negotiables. And all of those non-negotiables, you need to be prepared to stand on them and don't negotiate at all. Period. You do not negotiate your non-negotiables. That's why they are non-negotiables, but you need to identify what they are. Be honest with yourself. Keep it real with yourself. There are people out there that meet your standards. There are. Now, I'm not saying you got to be picky down to the T, because nobody is perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. But don't settle. You know what you want. Get what you want. It's out there. Sometimes it takes a little patience, but it's there. Sometimes you meet these people and you don't know how to handle these people because you've never encountered these people. That's why it's important to do the work, the personal work on self, so that when you are aligned and you meet your person, you know how to handle them. You know how to move accordingly in the relationship, because you've done the inner work. You've done the work. So when that man is taking a little bit too long to call you back because you've done the work, your first mind isn't, oh, he's cheating, he's talking. That's not your first mind. You're able to be calm enough. I wonder if he's okay. Consider that. He's probably busy. Consider that. I'm sure he'll call me when he get an opportunity. Instead of being triggered and going off the deep end and going left and making assumptions, making an ass of yourself, doing all that extra shit. See it from a different perspective. Look at it from a different perspective, and don't go with that first mind. Don't allow, because that was a trigger for you. And you act off an impulse immediately. What if he was asleep? What if? Do the work. You have to do the work, because it's going to bleed in your relationships. It is very easy to attract a man. It is very easy to attract a woman. It is very easy to attract a partner. But keeping that partner, longevity, long term, it takes work. You got to do the work, and you have to have done the work first before you even enter into a relationship. At least start working on yourself first. Especially those people that find themselves in failed relationship after failed relationship. Hey, something up. Something is up. Something's going on here. It can't just keep being the other people, because now I'm starting to be the common denominator. So now I need to go ahead and I need to check myself. And I need to see where the issues are in my relationships. And I need to see and I need to be honest about the role that I played in these issues. Why did the breakup occur? What role did you play? And it's not to beat yourself up. It's to learn, right? It's an opportunity to grow. We talk about taking these L's not as losses, but as lessons. Learn the lesson and apply it so that when you move forward, you don't make the same mistakes. Because remember, when you don't learn the lesson, you're going to keep taking the test over and over and over again, meaning you're going to keep going through the same thing over and over and over again. Stuck in a circle. Stuck in a circle. We're on a journey. The journey isn't one way. It's damn sure ain't a circle. It's continual. It's continuous. You got to keep going. You got to keep going to the next level. The next level. There's levels to this shit. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. When you don't learn the lessons, you get stuck here. And who wants to get stuck at this level and just stay here? That's the bottom. Who wants to get stuck at the bottom? No, I want to go to the next level, because I notice that each level I get to, it gets greater and greater and greater. Yes, shit gonna still happen. Greater and greater and greater. But now I know how to deal with it. Now I don't react the same. Now I don't choose the same people. Now I'm aware. Now I'm conscious. Now I know how to easily identify red flags. And now I know how to easily walk away when I see these red flags. Now I know how to stand on my non-negotiables. Now I know how to set boundaries and stand on them. Now I know how to speak up and advocate for myself. Now I understand what people understand, and I now understand how to deal with people, and I understand how to be empathetic and understand that shit happens and understand that nobody is perfect. And I understand that the same way that I have a journey, my partner has a journey. The same way that I'm dealing with traumas, my partner could be dealing with traumas. So I'm able to give them a little grace and mercy and be empathetic towards them, because we're all on a journey. Different paths, different directions, different spaces, different times, but we're all on a journey. And we have to take that into consideration. The same way you go through shit, the next person going through shit. And they probably be going through shit that's greater than you in this particular season. We have our ups and we have our downs. We have our highs and we have our lows. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing is permanent. But you got to keep going in order to see that, in order to test that. You got to keep going. When you stop, that's when you fail. When you stop, that's when it's game over. Every day you open up your eyes, you have another opportunity. Another opportunity to pivot. Another opportunity to get it right. Another opportunity to learn the lesson. Another opportunity to move up to the next level. You have another opportunity. But the moment you stop, the moment you're stagnant, the moment you keep going in a circle, you lost. It's game over. You don't got no movement. And the little bit of movement you got going is in a goddamn circle. You're not making any progress. What we doing? What we doing? I say it all the time. Nobody is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. It is your responsibility to save yourself. It is your responsibility to position yourself to win in life. It's your responsibility. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to give it to you. You're going to have to work for it. This manifestation shit, don't nothing fall in your lap. You got to work for it. You want another position, you trying to get a promotion, you got to work for it. You want to take your relationship to the next level, you got to put in that work for it. Everything requires work. You can't be afraid to do the work. We can't be so lazy that we're not doing the work. Then we don't get what we asked for, and now we mad at the world, and now it's a conspiracy. No, you didn't do the work. You ain't the victim. You didn't do the work. Well, they did this to me. You allowed it. You stayed around it. You didn't speak up for yourself. Now you got to do the work so that you don't run into those problems again. You got to do the work, y'all. We got to stop being afraid of doing the work. We got to stop not wanting to do the work. And I understand that some of you all's trauma, that in that drama, that is tied to your identity. So you ain't even trying to do the work because that is who you are. And you're going to continue to get these negative experiences and have a poor quality of life until you change. Do the work. We look at everybody else. We point fingers at everybody else except for ourselves. We don't do the work. Do the work on self. All right, let me get on here before I be late because I am trying to get a promotion and I'm not trying to be late. So I got to go do the work. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Bye, babies.